Welcome everyone to ISKCON of Silicon Valley. ISKCON stands for International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and we have thousands of centers around the world now. And this center was started around 1998, and we've been in several different locations. It like other ISKCON centers is here to facilitate those who wish to take up a spiritual practice in their lives. And we follow the basic tenets of the ancient wisdom literatures, one of which is called the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago, interestingly enough, on a battlefield. Who could think of a more stressful situation? And in that situation, there was a conversation recorded, not by tape recorder or anything. There were more subtle technologies at the time. In any case, the conversation was between Krishna, who's known as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his friend, Arjuna. And Arjuna was in great stress going into the battle, not because he was afraid of battle, because he was a hero and a warrior, trained martial artist, but because he saw that it was a lose-lose situation for him. And that is, when he came onto the battlefield and saw the two armies facing one another about to fight, he noticed that many of his relatives were on the opposing side. What to speak of his revered teacher. And he thought, if I win the battle, then I'll do it at the cost of the lives of those for whom I wish to show my prowess and show them that I've won a kingdom and was victorious. But that seemed to be a losing proposition. And he began to make excuses why he shouldn't fight. And Krishna then instructed him that the situations we naturally come into here in this world are never going to line up perfectly, so we have to go on and do our duty. And he also gave metaphysical teachings, starting with telling Arjuna that things aren't what they seem to be, especially in the case of considering some people to be our relatives, other people our friends, some people enemies. He said, actually, these are only mental constructs, in the sense that we're all just passing through this world. Those we consider to be mother, father, uncles, cousins, and so forth, are only so for a brief period of time as we're in this material body. But, as Krishna points out several times in the Bhagavad Gita, we're not our physical body. We're something beyond it. We're not even the mind. The mind is also a physical substance, but we're categorically different from the body. And he points out that there's a way, even while we're in the ever-changing world that we're in now as spiritual beings, that we can remain steady. And he suggests to his student Arjuna that we practice yoga. And yoga, although nowadays, when we first hear the word, it may sound like some kind of a exercise to get in shape. But yoga has its origins in Sanskrit, and the root word for the word yoga is yuj, which means to join together. And it specifically means for us to reconnect with our source. We call God, or the origin of everything. And when we do reconnect, then we feel satisfied. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives the instruction to Arjuna in Sanskrit. It goes like this: Manmana bhava mad bhakto. He says, you should train your mind to remember God. And when you're able to do that, then you'll be aligned with God, and your life will become productive. Otherwise, if you forget, then there are myriad ways in which your mind will be pulled in various directions and you'll always feel dissatisfied. And in the greater teachings of yoga, we specifically follow the path called bhakti. Bhakti yoga means the yoga of love and gratitude, where we practice in such ways that we'll remember God as a person, or we call the Supreme Person. And one of the ancient wisdom literatures, which is called the Vishnu Purana, gives a very helpful statement for those who wish to practice Krishna consciousness or this kind of yoga. It simplifies things, where it says that the main point of the practice is to somehow or other remember Krishna. Remember, when I say Krishna, it means that from whom everything else emanates. And the verse that I'm quoting from goes on to say that there are many rules and regulations, just as in any spiritual practice or any religion. There may be so many rules and regulations, it's hard to keep up with them all. However, the verse says that there are only two rules. One of them is a positive, which means do something, and the other is don't do something. So there are only two. Out of thousands and thousands, there's two rules. Would you like to hear the two rules? Yes. Or would you rather follow thousands of rules? Two? You like two? The first rule is always remember Krishna. And the second rule is never forget Krishna. And the verse goes on to say that all the other rules and regulations that one might find throughout the various books of wisdom are servants of these two. So that helps to simplify the process, because we have enough else going on in our lives that we don't need any more complications, right? Yeah, say yes. It helps out. So, in another teaching, which is very helpful to conceptualize what this practice is, in another context, where the same teaching of the Bhagavad Gita was re-spoken, was 500 years ago. And a main teacher in our tradition is called Chaitanya. And Chaitanya is known in the ancient scriptures to be an incarnation of Krishna. The idea is that while we're caught up here in the material world, we may need a little help. And there's a concept called avatara. Nowadays there are various ways that the word avatar is used, I've noticed. The real meaning of it is one who crosses from a higher dimension to a lower dimension to help those who are struggling with the lower dimension. The implication is that they would help those who are struggling to come up to a higher level of consciousness. That's what avatara means. So Chaitanya is an avatar of Krishna, and he appeared 500 years ago in India. And his teachings are contained in several books where he makes the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita and some of the ancient scriptures like the Srimad Bhagavatam very practical and relevant. And we have the benefit of another conversation that takes place. This time it's between a person who had approached Chaitanya to find out the essence of the spiritual practices. And he very helpfully asked a simple question to Chaitanya by saying, "Who am I?" And he went on to say that although people say I'm a great scholar, and indeed he was, the person who was inquiring is named Sanatan, and he spoke 7 languages. He was also a prime minister and expert in many different ways. But he admitted to his teacher, Chaitanya, that how can I say that I'm learned because I don't even know who I am? This is a good place to start when one wants to engage in spiritual practice, is to start at the beginning. Beginner's mind. I don't know anything. I'm a blank slate. And Chaitanya gave an immediate reply to who he was, and he said that you're an eternal servant of God. That's your position. And he explained the nature of God as the origin of everything. He gave an example of fire or the sun. Although the sun is located in one place, the heat and light of the sun are pervasive. They're everywhere within this universe, and we can experience the effect of them. So he said, similarly, God, or the origin of everything and everyone, may be in one place, but God's energies are everywhere, and they're all pervasive. And then he gave more definition who we are. He said that we're not material. And he gave a couple citations from the Bhagavad Gita. One is to name the qualities of energies that we'll find in this world. And he specifically named 2 different energies. One of them decidedly lower, and the other one higher. So the lower energies, he gave a list. You ready for the list? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. How many is that? Just 8. That's not hard to keep track of. It's not like a periodic table or something. And these are called the material energies. And they're categorically different from a higher energy, which then, and this comes from the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna went on to say, is the conscious being within the body that's made up of the lower energies, that's illuminating the body. And in modern language, we would say that's consciousness. We can explore that ourselves by noticing that we can become conscious of the body and notice that we're different from it. We can even become aware of the fact that we're different from our mind. We can even notice our false ego. So this was a teaching of Chaitanya to Sanatan, and he then said that we, as living entities within the body, have a specific nature, and we're a particular kind of energy. Even though we're superior to material energy, we have a nature which is called marginal. So marginal means that we can cohort with the lower energies and identify ourselves with the elements of the material world I just mentioned, or we can turn our attention to the higher energy, which is consciousness, or we could also say spiritual energy. Different ways of describing the lower and higher energies. One, the material or spiritual, lower energy, higher energy. And when we're engaged in yoga, the idea is to become involved with the superior energy. This is the object of Krishna consciousness. So what better way to do that than to go to the very source of all spiritual energy and all material energies, for that matter, who is situated in one place. In other words, that origin has a form. He's not formless. And the ancient wisdom literatures describe how the nature of our source is that he is completely independent, and also all-knowing. So we have some of those qualities. We know something. Does anybody here know anything? You could say yes. What do you know? I know my foot hurts, or as Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, he actually has a name for us. You want to hear what it is? I mean, it's not the only name, but it is one name that he calls us as living beings or souls. You really want to hear it? You won't be upset? He calls us Kshetragya. That's a Sanskrit word or phrase. And it means one who becomes aware that he or she is in a field. And the body he defines as a field of activity. So see if you can become aware right now of the field you're in. Can you be aware of it? It's not very hard, is it? You can be aware that you have hands and legs, and maybe notice that you're digesting something. True, right? Nobody fasting today? And we can notice that we're in a field. This is what Krishna calls the field, this body that we're in. And we have some sense of what it is. Not that much though, right? I mean, I can't figure out exactly how it works, but I do know I'm in it. And I do know that there are functions of the body that are continually going on. And even when I sleep at night, I have some sense, especially when I start to wake up, that I'm in a body. And this is called the Kshetragya, means one who's aware of being in a field, in a body. And then there's another conscious entity within our body. And that conscious entity we call the super spirit. And although I know only a little bit, I know about my field to some degree, I don't know what's going on with your field of activity. Your foot might hurt, but I wouldn't know about it. But the super spirit who's within every field, and that includes not just human beings, but also squirrels. That super spirit is in the field of every squirrel in the world. How many are there? You don't know? It's not on your SAT? And what about giraffes? Not how many, but would the super spirit be aware of what's going on in a giraffe's body? And the Bhagavad Gita's answer is yes. I'm not aware even of how many giraffes there are. What to speak of squirrels, who are probably more populous than giraffes. Nonetheless, what is described as super spirit is aware of all bodies everywhere and of everything. This is what is known as being abhijna, or aware of everything all at the same time. And that's super consciousness or super spirit, of which I'm a part. So I have the same quality. But just as the sun has immense power, and then the sun has emanations, namely its rays. The rays are the sun, but at the same time, they're not the sun. I see sun rays in this room. I don't really see them as rays, but I see the sunlight, we would say in English, on the wall back there. You don't have to turn around and take my word for it. And that is the sun, isn't it? Say yes. And at the same time, it's not the sun, because if the sun globe was in the room, or even an inch closer than it is now, we'd be vaporized. I hate to bring up such a scary subject, but there you have it. And in a similar way, supreme or super spirit is all powerful, and we're a part of that supreme spirit. So we have the same qualities, consciousness, but not in the same quantity, because we're simultaneously one with and different from the super spirit, just as the sun is all powerful and the parts have the same quality, but they're not all powerful. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Chaitanya, describing to Sanatana Goswami the practice of Krishna consciousness, went on to say that the awakening of this awareness of our being part of the super spirit and different from our body, and also marginal in that it's possible for us to become captured by the lower energy, which sounds counterintuitive, because if we're superior energy, how do we become captured by our lower energy? And the answer is that even the lower energy comes from the Supreme Spirit, or Krishna. And it's described also as divine energy because it's divinely inspired and controlled by the Supreme. So even though we're superior to earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, the conglomerate of all these energies is coming from Krishna, and it's also controlled by Krishna. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions this phenomena that he calls even the lower energy divine energy. And he says that we become, as little parts of Krishna, captured by it. How do we become captured by it? By our own involvement with it, by looking at it and thinking that we can manipulate it. Did you ever look at something and think you could manipulate it? Only 3 people? Well, there's an interesting way in which, when we try to manipulate even this lower energy, it manipulates us back. As an example, living entities are smart because we're part of God. We have a very keen intelligence. What to speak of humans, that's a soul within a human body, can create interesting technologies like the television. And let's say that somebody figures out how to make a television, which already happened, because television is fairly popular, isn't it? Yeah. So person has the intelligence to manipulate the material energy to create a television, but then becomes captured by it. Have you ever known anybody who is captured by a television? And I'm not talking about a television reaching out as in a cartoon and grabbing somebody and pulling them away, but it captures the consciousness of the person who created it. So I create it, and then I am able to somehow channel various pictures and stories. It sounds like a very elemental way of describing television, but then somebody may become addicted to it and become non-productive. And one might even say that, oh, such and such is addicted to watching television and can't stop doing it. Modern version of television is a little screen we carry around in our pocket, which is a brilliant invention, but then it captures us and we can't control it. And there's a perverse relationship we have with the so-called lower energies of the world, in that we're superior in quality, but because we're minute and the material energy is great and it's controlled by God, we can become carried away by it. So when we're carried away by the lower energy and we're captured by it, this is a false, or it's an illusory kind of life that we have. It's very much like when you see water in the desert. It looks like water. You may think there's a lake, but if anybody's had experience with mirages, which is likely if you've lived in California and you've traveled across any deserts here, you see what looks like a body of water. But then you'll notice after some time that no matter how fast you're moving towards it, it recedes because it's fake water. It's the illusory presentation of water. So the entire material world's like that. But our nature is different. We are satisfied when we're connected only with the higher energy. So it makes sense that when we turn our attention to Krishna, who's all spiritual, we feel satisfied just as much as one who's thirsty and finds a real body of water and is able to drink feels satisfied. Therefore, one of the analogies given in the ancient wisdom literature called Srimad Bhagavatam describes genuine spiritual practice with the process of eating. When you're hungry and you eat food, says the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3 things happen. One is that you feel nourished. The next one is you feel satisfied. And the third is that your hunger goes away. Every morsel you eat, you're noticing these 3 things if you take time to notice. Sometimes we don't really think, am I being nourished, satisfied, and my hunger's going away? We just eat. But they do happen, and if you think back to when you ate lunch today, if you were hungry, your hunger went away and you feel nourished and satisfied. That's why you're able to sit so stoically here, because you ate such a nice lunch, perhaps. True? What'd you get? Some roti or... Yeah? Roti. Okay, that'll do it. And therefore, the practice of bhakti yoga is non-sectarian. It's universal. The basic principle is the same everywhere, because no matter where you go, any continent, although the external covering may be different, the cultural habits may be slightly different, the basis is the same, and that is that we are a superior energy called consciousness living within a body constructed by lower energy. And in general, souls are entranced by that lower energy. So to come out of that, there's a system. And it's called Krishna consciousness. Turning one's consciousness towards Krishna. And by the practice of Krishna consciousness, one naturally begins, just as one feels satisfied when one's hungry, one starts to feel natural satisfaction. And one also feels that one can give up bad habits. If you've ever developed a bad habit and wondered where you got it from, it's hard to tell even who you picked it up from. And I met somebody in San Francisco when we were out on Friday, and I was talking to him, and he had this little device in his hand, and when I was talking to him, he felt compelled to put it to his mouth, and then he turned his head away, and a puff of smoke came out. I said, what is that? What are you doing? And he looked embarrassed. He said, oh, it's smoke. And I said, what kind of smoke is in it? And he said, oh, nicotine. And he said, well, what does it do for you? And he said, oh, it gives me a kind of elevated feeling. I said, oh, okay. And apparently it's a pervasive habit, and there are lots of others. There are ways in which the superior energy of the soul, the conscious, who is a soul within the body, gets addicted to various aspects of the material nature. Could be through the eyes, looking at something over and over again, even compulsively, or gets addicted to any number of things which other people may warn us about, or even the government might put out information saying, if you do this, it's going to be harmful for you. But the desire to enjoy it overrides the warning, and one goes on and becomes entangled in the material nature in various ways. There is a superior state of consciousness and a way of living called Krishna conscious life, where one rises above these various attachments and habits. And just as in the example of eating food, when one trains one's consciousness on our source, God, Krishna, it's satisfying. So much so that one gives up other activities that are a distraction to one's Krishna consciousness. They're not so desirable anymore. That's hard to do. There are many systems to give up bad habits. They require at least 12 steps to get there, and it's an arduous process, and one hangs on to the impressions of those attachments, even sometimes throughout a whole lifetime. There's a way in which when one is able to experience a higher type of pleasure, which is quite natural, is the most natural for us to experience spiritual happiness, then one becomes disinclined towards the activities that are rank or base, and which involve connecting our senses, either our mind or more gross senses, with the lower energy from material nature. It takes practice, but there are breakthroughs along the way, even when one starts to practice spiritual life, Krishna consciousness, because it's quite natural for us to connect with beauty. We want beauty, right? How do you know that you like beauty? Huh? It's captivating? What do you mean it's captivating? Give her the microphone. She's going to explain what she means by this. Why are we attracted to beauty? That's a good question, if I do say so myself.
When we look at something beautiful, it makes us feel that's really nice, and it creates this sort of deeper feeling within us.
I like that. How do you know it's beautiful?
I think each version of beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. So whatever.
Completely? Or are there some things that are naturally beautiful?
I think there's some things that are naturally beautiful.
But how do you know, even if it's in the eye of the beholder, how do you know when you saw something beautiful?
For example, if we take nature.
You can just say, I just know.
I just know.
Like when you wake up in the morning and somebody might come in and go, are you awake? And you go, yeah. And how do you know? Or if it's around lunchtime, you say, are you hungry? And they say, I'm hungry. And you say, how do you know you're hungry? It's like, I just know. And that's the nature of consciousness. We just know. That's the abhigna feature or sat feature. We're aware of ourselves. We're aware that we exist. And so we know that we exist. When we point our attention towards the lower energy, we start to feel like we don't exist. Or we will likely start to feel nervous that we may in the future not exist. It's not possible because we always exist. We've always existed. We exist right now. Do you exist right now? Yes. And you'll always exist. But when I point my mind into matter and I get absorbed in it, I get this uneasy feeling that at some point I'm going to cease to exist. How does that feel? Who said not good? How does it make you feel?
I was actually talking to someone on book distribution on Friday about this, and he was talking about it, and we were just thinking about how it's quite scary to think that you might not exist in the future, and it makes everything else that you think matters right now feel like it doesn't, which is also really, it's hard to accept that what I'm doing right now might not matter later?
It's hard to talk about, as you said, and most people don't like to talk about it very much. So if you go home for the holidays and people are looking for topics to talk about, you can raise your hand and suggest, how about we talk about death and see how it works for your extended family. Come on, Stevie and Johnny, let's get together and talk about death. And people will be protective and say, no, let's talk about something lighter. And there's this sense of avoidance of that because we don't want to not exist. And that's natural. And spiritual practice is natural also. It's not a mental construct. It's who we are, and it's directly experienced when we're able to point our consciousness towards God. That's the process of bhakti yoga. There are many processes of yoga that one enacts in various stages to clear the mind, to still the mind, and so forth. And the point I made earlier about two steps, simple steps, that's Krishna consciousness. Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. You think you could do that? Starting right now? For the rest of the day? For the rest of the week? Okay. How would you propose, if you're going to teach it to somebody, how they could do it too? What would you suggest that somebody do if they want to practice spiritual life and you tell them there's only two parts? You have to remember God, Krishna, and never forget God. What would you suggest that they do? I want a full answer. Who said chant? Okay, give her the mic. You got to build a little context.
I would suggest that they can chant or listen to the holy names.
What does it mean, holy names? And what are they going to chant and why?
By listening to the names of God, since they're equivalent to Him, we can associate with Him through His names.
I see. So that would be your main suggestion?
Yes.
Anybody have any other thoughts or reflections on what she suggested? Yes?
I want to add on to Anabhaini's point in the sense that you mentioned this in a lecture once, but every activity we have during the day, if we write it out, we can draw a line and see how we can connect it somehow to remembering God and trying to never
Okay, well,
forget God.
tell us one thing that you have to do during the day and how you draw a line and connect it to Krishna or God.
A lot of people may have to take means of transportation to get to work, school, or other activities. And when you're driving or you're taking the bus or you're on a train, you can listen to a class about God, or you can listen to kirtan, which is a musical sense of God.
Okay?
Or you can even chant.
All right. Yes?
I was just going to add a few more items to Madhuri Sakhi's journal. And that would be just to look around you, where Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Rasoham apsu kaunteya. So try to see Krishna in everything and marvel that the intelligence that goes behind creating all that. For example, you were asking, when we see something beautiful, we can say that beauty is coming because Krishna created it that way. Or the bus that takes her to the college, some intelligent brain was used in creating that. So everything that we have in our lives. And then when something negative happens, we can also then see that what is Krishna trying to teach me. So that way, keep on drawing the lines on the journal.
Okay. Yes?
Something that helps me do exactly just that is question why. I feel like as we grow older, we grow more accustomed to just taking things at face value and not asking why, but by simply asking why, it becomes easier to develop taste for learning and reading and understanding how God may be involved in many of the day-to-day activities we are doing, and build appreciation for many of those activities we have throughout the day.
Thank you.
Making friends with or associating with other people who are also tuned to the same frequency of thinking about God is also a way to keep ourselves in that sphere.
Oh, very helpful. Thank you.
I was just reminded of the 9th verse in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything. That means nuclear physics, quantum physics, economics, psychology, any topics in anywhere being discussed, you always know that God knows it and God is telling him what to say. He is the oldest, so he knows how this universe got created. No debate there. He is the controller, he is controlling everything. So he is controlling the vehicle, he is controlling the driver who is running the vehicle, he is controlling the factory which is producing the vehicle. Who is the maintainer of everything? So he is maintaining everything through all the living entities. Who is beyond all material conception? That means although he is doing everything, just by studying the matter it is very difficult to understand. He is inconceivable, but he is always a person. So he is basically Krishna. He is not some energy, some love, some light controlling everyone, but he is Krishna who is actually out there through his yogic potencies controlling everything. And he is luminous like the sun, very bright and effulgent, and he is transcendental beyond this material nature. And that is another reason we have to rely on the scriptures to understand him. We cannot speculate about him. He is beyond this material nature.
Thank you very much. I saw another hand over here, didn't I? Mantra Siddhi?
Hare Krishna. In very simple words, I would tell them that there is always a superior energy or someone very superior who is beyond our perception and who is controlling and maintaining everything. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Krishna consciousness, as taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, following the tenets of the Bhagavad Gita, gave some simple practices which many of you mentioned. Anapayani Bhakti mentioned how there's this extremely efficient way to be constantly in contact and to think about Krishna, and that's because of the fact that Krishna and his name were non-different. And Chaitanya taught that God has many names, not just one, but unlimited names, and that all of those names have the same potency as God. Therefore, when you repeat them and listen to them, you're directly in the presence of God. And he recommended as the primary practice for Krishna consciousness is to chant. The mantra that we chant has 3 words, Hare, which means, oh, the energy of the Lord. Krishna, which means Krishna, the source of everything, and it also means that he's all attractive, all beauty. And Rama means the source of the highest pleasure. And when we say these together, Hare Krishna Rama, there's a mantra that goes like this: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And by chanting that mantra, which one can do very deliberately as a group activity, or even you can chant it to yourself as a prayer and continue saying it over and over again and listening to the mantra, then there's a way in which you're remembering Krishna. And if you find yourself forgetting Krishna, you can remember the mantra again and pick up the chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then, as Madhuri Saki said, and also Shraddha, there's a way in which we can notice that all the energies in the world and everything that's moving or not moving is under the control of the Supreme. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna recommends that whatever you're doing now in your life, or whatever kinds of disciplines you're engaged in, or whatever kind of food you're eating, etc., all the activities that you're engaged in the world, if you remember that Krishna is the source of all the energies that you're using, and you offer it to him. You say, I'm offering this to you. Then that's another way of staying constantly connected to Krishna. And that way you can follow the two rules, which are? What's the second one? But what about all the other thousands of rules and regulations? They're all servants of these two rules. So we have enough to think about in life. It's just hard enough to remember which button to push. And when you get a new operating system, then you have a learning curve. You have to figure it out. There's too many things to remember. So in spiritual life, we don't want to overcomplicate it. We can remember these two things. Always remember Krishna. Never forget Krishna. And a simple way to always remember him is to chant the mantra, and also to remember how everything is connected to Krishna, and then make it as an offering. Whatever we do, we offer it to Krishna and say, I'm doing this for you. So now, if you're open for it, and if there's enough air in this room, I'm not convinced there is. I don't know if the iPhone 16 has an oxygen meter, but I would suggest to the organizers of iPhone that they include that so that we can tell if we have enough oxygen in the room. Somehow we got downgraded in my I have a bigger one somewhere else, but I forgot to bring it today. It looks like we're getting oxygen. Then we can try what's called kirtan, or samkirtan. Kirtan is a way of singing the names of Krishna. So let's try that as a group activity, and we can call ourselves the ISKCON of Silicon Valley a cappella choir. Although I guess we're going to have an accompaniment of music today. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Sri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane. This isn't it yet, it's just a preamble. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschatya Deshatarne Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Next slide. Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Now here comes the mantra I mentioned earlier. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Jai Gaur Premanande, Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan ki, Shri Hari Nam Mantra ki, Shri Hari Nam Prabhu ki, Gaur Premanande. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Where's Shamalangi? Well, I think we need some special effects. When we come to Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, there should be like fireworks going off on the screen. Can we get that? Which is on the altar. Sorry to bother you. For all the high-tech devotees here, I want, so when we come to Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, then you know how when you put congratulations on your iPhone to somebody and then it explodes like that? So if you can devise a way to, when we come Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, there's Krishnangi Gopi presses a button, and then the fireworks go and it goes Hari Bol. And then when it goes Jai Jai Prabhupada, then a picture of Prabhupada comes up with, you know, some kind of, flowers or something like that. What do you think? Remember, you heard it here first at ISV. Okay. So we have a few more minutes to have a discussion, yes? Okay.
Since we were chanting and you were talking about the Harinam, I just wanted to say that Ashish Prabhu sitting back, he met Surikund Prabhu at the Black Friday day in San Francisco, and Surikund Prabhu said, why don't you come here? So here he is.
Thanks for coming. Thank you. Welcome. Do you want to introduce yourself, or is that too much fun on the spot? Just say hi, introduce yourself. You got to turn that yellow to green.
Hello everyone, I am Ashish and I'm from Nepal, and it's been like 3 months since I came to the US, so it's been a pleasure to meet you all.
We like Nepal, and thanks for coming. Great
You're
to
welcome.
have you here. Thanks for joining. Vijay Prabhu, would you like to introduce your guest or have him introduce? Past Vijay Prabhu is in the first row of Sector 2 of the temple room in the back. A microphone.
A couple weeks ago, Chris here, he got 4 books, the 4 questions, the Bhagavad Gita, Signs of Self-Realization, and Journey of Self-Discovery. He came, I think, was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago? Maybe 3 weeks ago. He came a couple weeks ago. He didn't come last week because his parents and relatives came for Thanksgiving. So, but he very enthusiastically came this week to hear you.
Well, Chris would like to say hi.
Hi, my name's Chris. I only recently moved out here, and I'm happy to join this community along with moving to the new area.
And Chris is from my home away from home, St. Louis, Missouri. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Anybody else here for the first, second? Yes. Microphone there. Who's the spokesperson?
I'm here with my
of the
friend
family?
Tatiana. I don't know if,
Okay.
what is. Do they introduce me?
Yeah.
My name is Konstantin, and Tatiana invited me. She's over here. Thank you. This is beautiful. It's very nice. First time here. First time here.
Constantine, welcome.
Thank you.
You want to say anything? Give her a mic.
I'm very happy to be here. I am in California for 3 months. I used to live in Ukraine, and I've been there in Krishna consciousness for like 25 years, at least I'm trying to be there.
25 years. That's a lot.
And today I'm very happy that I'm here with my friend. We work together in the same place in Monterey. So here we are.
Did you drive up from Monterey?
Yeah, he was driving.
How long did it take you?
So about 2 hours.
2 hours. Wow. Get him some. All our guests should get some special gift. Can you put together a special gift? Maybe some Mahaprasadam books they don't have yet. And does that make anybody else want to say you're here for the first time? Yes, please. You can introduce your neighbor, or she can introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Gitanjali. I'm here with my dad.
What's your name?
Gitanjali.
Gitanjali, what a fantastic name. And you're here with your dad.
My dad, yeah, he's visiting me in US. He's right there. So he likes to go to temple, and we wanted to come to ISKCON because we've been to ISKCON in other places, and we wanted to come see how it is here.
Which other places?
I'm in India.
I know, but where in India?
In Bangalore.
Bengaluru.
Yeah.
You live in Bengaluru?
No, we used to live in Indonesia, so we also...
Kabar. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, and so when we were in Indonesia, we used to have a gathering at home too, just to chant. So we just wanted to come and see, and it's really nice here.
Thank you. It's really nice having you here. Thank you both for coming all the way over. Are you together? Are you back row? Are you two together? Or just the two of you, your father and Gitanjali?
Just me and my dad.
Okay, anybody else who came here for the first or second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time? Okay, so please take a moment. We're going to take a moment to meet somebody that you haven't met yet before, and just introduce yourself and say one thing that's helping you in your spiritual practice. Share what one thing that you are finding particularly helpful in your spiritual practice. This will require to stand up, so you may want to mark your space because we're going to sit back down again. And take 5 minutes to meet somebody. Don't meet somebody you already know, otherwise you'll have to go to jail. Okay. Take 5 minutes. Go. This is very nice. What a thoughtful gift. This is really nice. Thank you so much. I'll use it for my puja. I'll use it for my puja. Did you enjoy the holiday Hare Krishna mixer? Did you meet anybody? Did you learn anything new? Let's take a few samples. What did you learn? What did you hear? Yes? Katha Karnava.
Hare Krishna. I met Pratik. Pratik has recently moved to Bay Area, so he was sharing with me that he makes sure that he reads Bhagavad Gita every day, even if it is 1 or 2 sentences. So that has been really helping him, and he wants to progress to reading a full paragraph or purport. So that's it.
Thank you. Very helpful. Yes.
Garima and I talked to Apurva, sitting behind me. And so she said that she recently joined the garland team. And by the way, the garlands today are looking very, very beautiful. So she said that, so I said, how does garland making help you improve in your Krishna consciousness? And so the first thing she said was she gets devotee association, of course, the garland team is there. And then she also said that while they're making the garlands, she gets a chance to listen to all the kirtans and all the lectures there, so that it reinforces that in her. Yeah.
Vijay Prabhu, first row of quadrant 2. Got to pass a mic. Thank you.
I was speaking to Constantine. His first introduction to Krishna consciousness was he got a book from a lady distributing books in Moscow.
Wow.
So that was his first introduction. And he's looking around, studying different spiritual movements, and he's here now, and hopefully he'll be inspired here.
I met Yugulhada. She told me that when she first came to the temple, there was no one here other than Kumari Leela, who was on the altar. And it inspired her to see a lady doing pujari service. And Kumari Leela introduced her to the Bhagavatam. And actually she had been looking for bhakti for almost 20 years. She had been connected to Narasimhadev as a child and saved by him. And she had been looking for this connection. And now she's connected back. She's very grateful for that. And she also feels that regret of losing that much time. And it's making her committed to this process. She's not going to leave your lotus feet.
Vajras Pravana.
I met Deepan over here, and he just moved about 3 months.
Where's Deepan? Hi, Deepan.
And he moved about 3 months ago to the Bay Area, and he's been coming here. I think it's like his 5th or 6th time, he was saying. And what he mentioned was really interesting. He says that to improve his what he does to improve his spiritual practice is to see Krishna in everyone, and that this was something that he consciously started about a couple years ago, and it just makes him appreciate that there is something that he doesn't know. He's a physicist, so he studied a lot of different things, and he's like the most interesting thing that's out there that I don't know is like in me. And he likes seeing that in others, and then by chanting the Maha Mantra, he's also able to just remember that through that process.
That is interesting. Very nice. Welcome, Deepak. Good to have you. Yes, Malini. Ananda, all the way in the back, quadrant 3, back row.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for doing this exercise, and it helped. I met Harini. She is from Santa Clara. She has been coming to the temple, but this is her first time on Sunday feast.
Oh.
And she really likes it, and she has Bhagavad Gita, and she wants to learn more. That's why she came today for the class. And I told her about Srimad Bhagavatam, and she wants to take one set now and start reading.
Welcome, welcome. So nice to have you here. Thank you. Do you know about Srimad Bhagavatam?
No,
But you read Gita, right? The Bhagavad Gita?
just little.
Nice. Which days do you usually come on?
On weekdays? but
You come on
not
weekdays?
often. Yeah,
Thank you for coming. Nice to have you here on a Sunday.
thank you.
Great to have you. Anybody else? Yes.
I met 3 gentlemen. They also seem to be coming on Sundays. One, I think they just left. One is Raj, one is Yash, another person is Sumedh. And Raj is a classically trained Hindustani vocalist.
Wow.
Yeah, and they usually come. They moved here 6 months ago, and they come to temple often on the weekdays. But this was their first time coming to the temple on Sunday. And they said that they will try to do the chanting at home regularly after your class today.
Okay. Well, I'll just mention one more secret from the Bhagavad Gita, and then we'll have a little more chanting, and then we're going to have the main activity of the day, besides prasadam, which is when we feed everybody. And it's the Hare Krishna dance party. It's coming up in a mere 10 minutes. And we have a suggestion, which is never miss a chance to dance. Human life's too short to miss that opportunity. And therefore we've provided this dance floor with this very soft wood. It's easy to dance on. And we'll be opening up the floor pretty soon, about 10 minutes. So we're counting down from there. And one of the great secrets of the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna mentions is that wherever we point our attention, we'll go to. He says this in a verse in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, that we are much more in control of our destiny than we know. And that the power of our attention is that wherever we point it, that's where our energy is going to go. That's where we'll be invested. We invest ourselves through our very glance. And if you think about what a glance is, you may be stymied for a while, try to figure out what it is. Like look at somebody right now and see if they look at you. And try to figure out what's in a glance. Is it electricity? Is it something measurable by an iPhone? Is there an app that can measure the power of a glance? It's consciousness, and we extend it outwardly through our glance. And wherever we point our attention, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, we're going to go there. So yoga means to be very much aware of this, that where attention goes, energy flows, and to very deliberately point our attention back to the spiritual world. If you're thinking of the spiritual world and you're looking at the spiritual world, you're going to go there. And that's the simple process of yoga. And again, we can remember that if we train our mind to think of Krishna, then we'll go to Krishna. What's more, our mind becomes purified and we'll feel naturally satisfied. It's a simple thing to feel happy. You don't need any extra paraphernalia to feel happy. We have everything that we need. So now we're going to chant a special tune that is meant just for Sunday evenings around this time. That's why I was waiting till it's about 9 minutes to 5. And we have a very special tune for you. It's a little more meditative. The last one was sort of joyous and upbeat, and this is a little more meditative. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. fairly somber tune, I'd like to announce that we received a letter today from our International Governing Body Commission for International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And there's a very grave situation right now in Bangladesh, and that we have many thousands of devotees as part of ISKCON that are in Bangladesh. There are also many minorities in Bangladesh, and there's been a upheaval, and this political upheaval has led to a very dangerous situation. Therefore, as requested by the International GBC, we're offering our group prayer tonight for anyone who'd like to participate for the protection of all the devotees who are in Bangladesh. It's difficult to explain how treacherous and dangerous the situation is there right now. But the devotees are taking shelter of Krishna, and the devotees everywhere are asking for prayers for their protection. Dear Srila Prabhupada, if you'd like to, or I'll just say and you would like to acquiesce. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shishi Panchatattva, Shishi Gornitai, Shishi Radha Madan Mohan, Shishi Lakshmi Nrsingadev. If you so desire, please protect all the devotees in Bangladesh and all the other minorities, and keep them safely in service at your lotus feet. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Tonight's kirtan we're dedicating to all the devotees in Bangladesh, praying for their safety and that Krishna may keep them close to him at this time. And now we're going to put away all the asanas that we're sitting on and roll up this carpet, and then we'll assemble back on the dance floor for the Hare Krishna dance party. We'll see you there in about 1 minute and 32 seconds. Thank you very much, everyone. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. That goes, this goes, this goes. These can be merged back into Mahatattva.
I gave the gift wrap and Mahaprasad to all the three participants.
So thoughtful.
And then one.
Oh, this is for you.
Thank you.
For coming. Welcome. Please come again and again. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama Hare Hare Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharyashto Tarashishiman. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharyashto Tarashishiman. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Vaisesika Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Nam Diptam Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Jamuna Devi Ki Jai. Sambeta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Tonight we're dedicating our Nrsimha prayers as we'll be praying as a vigil tonight for all our devotees in Bangladesh, and for that matter for all the minorities there who are in peril. Our dear Lord Nrsimhadev, if you so desire, please protect the devotees in Bangladesh. Thank you very much for considering our request. Hare Krishna. Do we have an appointed singer? Who wants to sing?
Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Pralada की, Srila Prabhupada की, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We welcome you all to the special Sunday Feast Festival on the weekend of Thanksgiving. Thank you all for giving us your precious time and voting with your feet. So let's give a big round of applause to everyone who has joined us tonight here. Hari Hari Bol! We also have an online audience, so let's give them a big round of applause as well. Hari Hari Bol! Today's discourse on Bhakti Yoga is brought to us by His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu. Let's express our gratitude and thank him for the class today. Hari 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 Bol! We also would like to thank His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu for an ecstatic kirtan. So let's give a big round of applause and thank him. Hari 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 Bol! We also would like to thank Her Grace Anvepayani Bhakti Mataji for leading the Nashimarti. Hari Hari Bol! Last but not least, we also like to express our gratitude and thank His Grace Charunimai Prabhu for bringing the broadcast live session. Hari Hari Bol! Anyone coming here for the first time? Yeah, thank you. We have some devotees. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions or we could be of any assistance, please reach out to me. My name is Sri Gopal Das and Sachindra Prabhu. You will find him outside. So let's chant one Maha Mantra for all our newcomers. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare. Today we have a very rare opportunity of sponsoring the Sunday feast. Usually we have many sponsors. Tonight we are looking, there is a rare opportunity for sponsorship. So if anyone would like to sponsor, please reach out to me. You can raise your hand now, or if you feel...
I would like to sponsor today's Sunday feast from myself and Nirakula Devi Dasi for all the devotees in Bangladesh.
Haribol! Anyone else? Okay, please come here, Mataji. Thank you for sponsoring. I forgot your name, but I know Vijay Prabhu. So please. Thank you. Yeah, please come. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Is Vijay Prabhu here? Okay, thank you, Mataji, for sponsoring.
Our daughter Vanshali's 11th birthday tomorrow, so we'd like to. Yeah, she's there. So we'd like to sponsor Prasad for her blessings from all of you. Yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Mataji, please wait for a second. I have some gift for you. Yeah. Thank you. Would you like to say a few words? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. We wish you all the best and all the success in your life with your studies as well as in your spiritual life. Hare Krishna. Thank you. You would like to sponsor the feast? Please come here. Thank you. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Kamal Thapa. I'm from Nepal. So I just want to sponsor because it's my birthday today. So actually,
thank you. It's a special day today. We have a congregation coming from Nepal. We have the devotees here. So thank you, and wish you a very happy birthday. And here is Mahaprasad and a small gift from us. Thank you for sponsoring the feast. Hare Krishna. cooks, Shreya? Okay, please announce the cooks.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Today's feast was led by Nilachal Chandra Mataji, helped by Abhijit Prabhu, Mrinali Mataji, Akash Prabhu, Tadya Sev Prabhu, Hari Sankirtan Prabhu, Ananya Gopika Mataji, Shilpa Mataji, Varsha Mataji, Meghavi Mataji, Shreya Mataji, Mansi Mataji, Thriti Mataji, Deepak Prabhu, Mahendra Prabhu, Bhavika Mataji, Bhargav Prabhu, Siva Mataji, Prasansha Mataji, and Puna Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Now we'll go to Prasad Sevaya prayers.
If you're not Bengali and you don't know these prayers, I'll just give an abstract. There's a way in which, through Bhakti Yoga, one connects to Krishna very directly in a heartfelt way. And one of the ways in which we connect to anyone is by accepting prasad, giving prasad. It's very intimate, actually, when we come home for home cooking, our mother cooks, we feel connection. So in Bhakti Yoga, what we eat is extremely important. It's not just for our body, but also for our mind and soul. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur here says that this is a kind of yoga, honoring prasadam. He calls it honoring prasadam. And he says that it's very difficult to control the senses. Of all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and difficult to control. But because the ancient Shastra says, Tashi Krishna Namadi Navaved Grayam Indriye, Sevan Mukhi Jivado Swayameva Spratyada, that is, if you learn to control the tongue and engage it in Krishna's service, then you can control all the other senses. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving this prayer of gratitude to Krishna, that you're so kind to your Krishna, that you've given us this Mahaprasadam. Just by honoring it, we'll control our tongue, and we'll be able to rise to the occasion of worshipping your lotus feet. So let's sing this together. Sharindra Jata Jodendriya Sahika Jive Pere Vishaya Sagare Salmate Jivayati Lova Vaisesika Take Veta Santika Samsahe Krishna Varagoyamo Kori Bare Jivaja Shakasha And now we'll say these prayers in English with the music. O King, for those who have amassed very few pious activities, their faith in Mahaprasad and Sri Govinda, in the holy name and in the Vaishnava is never gone. Go. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such a satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. Simply by decorating ourselves with the garlands, fragrant oils, clothes, and ornaments that you have already enjoyed, and by eating the remnants of your meals, we, your servants, will indeed conquer illusory energy. The Bhattacharya said, one should eat the Mahaprasadam of the Lord immediately upon receiving it, even though it is dried up, stale, or brought from a distant country. one should consider neither time nor place. The prasadam of Lord Krishna is to be eaten by gentlemen as soon as it is received. There should be no hesitation. There are no regulative principles concerning time and place. This is the order of the Supreme Krishna. And I assure you that the prasadam today is not dried up, nor is it brought from a distant place, only from the kitchen to you. Thank you very much for coming tonight, everyone, and please drive safe. It's very dark out there, and please take care of yourselves and one another. And let's keep the transcendental vibration going all over the world, or for the benefit of people all over the world. Thank you very much. Gaur Premanande Haribol. Prasadam is served in the picnic area. If you go out this door and take a sharp right, you'll run right into it. Gaur Premanande Haribol.